Hi everyone, now we are going to review task 2 of writing. So the GT or academic, both of them will have to do the same task, that's the writing task 2, which is essay. In order to get 6 or guarantee 6, or at least if you want to go for 7, you should follow a kind of special criteria. So here is a skeleton of IELTS writing task 2. You have to do the introduction, and the introduction you should present the language change. We call it paraphrase also. You have to change the question's language. So next you need to give the position what the essay is going to deal. You need to make your answers, put your answers over here, and based on the answers provided over here, you need to provide your body paragraph. Generally we consider there are two body paragraphs, and you'll need to keep main statement as per the introduction, explain to convince, and give example or experience to support it. Next, as stated on the introduction, next main statement, explain to convince, example and experience. So on the conclusion side, you are going to put these two main points again and link the questions. That's the normal skeleton for the essay. Whenever you are doing essay, you have to follow this kind of structure. Some of the questions would require you to have at least 3 body paragraphs. Let's begin. There are 4 types of writing tasks to essays. Let's begin. First, we have agree disagree kind of questions. On agree disagree kind of question, what is there is you'll be given a statement, and then the question will be asking you to agree or disagree. Sometimes it also could be asked as, is this a positive or negative trend? And you have to take one side. Let's go with this one. I do have a question. Railways are better than roads. Let me zoom this out. So here we go. Railways are better than roads. I had to keep full stop, which is not kept over here, no problem. I agree with this statement because it is cheaper and faster. So if you say you agree, you need to come up with the 2 points where you'll be developing your body paragraphs. Or you can also disagree. I disagree with the statements, means railways are not better than the roads because road is more comfortable and it matches geography. So giving the sides for the roads. So if you disagree, then come up with the 2 points to disagree the question. Sometimes the cases would be that you cannot produce 2 ideas. At that time, it's better if you go with I partially agree with this statement. If you say partially, then give a point to agree on. The railways are better. Railways is cheaper in long term, whereas roadways can provide better flexibility. This is the point for disagreeing. So you can go with partially agree. If you say partially agree, agree 1 point and disagree 1 point. These have to be thought and then kept on your introduction. I partially agree with this point, or you agree or you disagree. Just keep 2 of the points over your introduction. And after, however, make sure that you put comma, which is not kept over here. First thing is to change the language and say you agree or disagree. Here I'm going with partially agree. You can read this answer from the link. And as per higher studies help to cover expenses, this point has to be written changing the language. This would be our topic sentence, and you have to give your convincing explanations. After you give that, so give an example. So second point, as stated on the introduction, so present it and then like give example. So I do have conclusion. Conclusion means you have to re-mention these 2 points and link the questions. What happened while doing this was, so this essay was not 250. Your essay has to be at least 250, and in order to make it 250, I just added this one sentence. So it's up to you how you would make it. Remember, you just need to provide your answers over here, and that answer has to be like again remade on your body paragraph and also on the conclusion. And the way main that would be judged is how would you be convincing your main point and the examples that you present to support your main points. That's about the agree disagree. Now we move towards the next type of question, which is discuss both views. On the discuss both views, what happens is you'll be given a question that has 2 kind of views, and you'll be asked to discuss both views and give your opinion. Like agree disagree question, you need to pick a side. Maybe you agree with the first point or you agree with the second point, and whatever point that you agree on, try to plan for 2 of the backing ideas. There are very important factors to have 2 ideas for you, which I'll tell shortly. So while performing it, the first thing would be to change the language, make your that within single sentence, as it would demonstrate complex sentence, and mention your kind of views. You may want to keep the reason for the site that you have also, as you would be thinking two of the reasons. You can put one of the reason that you agree on over here, or you may just explain later. And on your body paragraph, what happens is, your first side of views you're presenting, you're explaining, and then giving the example. So next, you're going with the second views and explaining, convincing, and giving the example. Sometimes you can also present a recent survey to exemplify your point. This is also very helpful. Lastly, like you have 2 points which you have thought before. So one point you are going to explain between these two, and one point you are going to keep over here. Okay, here I do have advertisement is successful to make people buy or purchase the products. I said it makes people to buy, it makes people not to buy, and I chose not to buy. But the reason that I explained for these two are different. Here I said like they come as distractions and we try to ignore. But here I'm saying that people do not care advertisement because they buy with the conditions of the market, their money, their availability. So two different ways to answer the same point. And in your conclusion, you are going to again like put these two views as well as your view. It would be similar to the introduction, but make sure you change the language, and also you can add one lasting impression which I have not kept. You can keep it to make it like more better ending. Okay, so after discussing both views, let's move towards the two-part questions. For two-part questions, there would be like two questions. I do have in their advertising. Businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new some way. So why is this? Do you think it is a positive or negative development? This will be question mark. Grammatically, the error over here. So like for this question, you need to change the language first. Then you need to come up with the answer for the first question as well as the answer for the second question, and just mention that these are discussed below. And the reason that I kept this as a sample one is because sometimes you could be asked what factors cause this, or what are the solutions. At that time you need to have probably like two answers. The model answer would be added to this website in the future, but I'm going to cover how you would be proceeding this one. So first, this answer has been presented over here, convinced, and given example. So second question on the second paragraph, presenting, convincing, and example. If you get a question that has not why is this or what factors cause this, you will be having two of the answer that you will be thinking, and you are going to say that firstly the main reason for this is this. You are going to explain, not give the example, and here putting the linking another cause of this thing is this, or furthermore, or any linker, and then next reason just explain that, and then like first you another reason you just first like present there, convince, and give the example. That's how it works. Same goes even for this like second part. If it has two questions, you are going to present the first question, explain, put the linker, present the next one, and give the example. That's how you do these two-part questions. And here on the conclusion, you are going to keep these 2 points, means answer of these two questions, link the questions, as well as put one lasting impression. That's how two-part questions are done. So next we do have advantages and disadvantages. On advantage and disadvantage, it would be easy for you, like just think of the two advantages and two disadvantages of the questions that you would get, and you can just first change the language of the question and say A and B are the advantages while C and D are the disadvantages, and mention that A, B, C, D. There has to be a phrase, not the sentence. So your advantages and disadvantages has to be a kind of phrase. Make sure like you do it, present us, we'll check it. So in your body paragraph, first you'll be presenting first advantage, explain, convince, and linker. So present B, explain, example, explain. That would be the normal structure. So VINCE. You present first advantage, explain to convince, and not going to give example of the first one. you're not going to give example for the first advantage, but put linker like moreover. The another advantage of this topic is, like present like that, explain and give the example or the supporting experience for the second one. Same goes with disadvantage also. Present the C means disadvantage. So first sentence explain linker, and after that like D means second disadvantage, explain and give example. On the conclusion, A and B are the pros while C and D are the cons. You can link the questions, also keep one of the lasting sentence. That's how you'll be doing advantages and disadvantages. This would be easy, but there is one question that has advantages outweigh disadvantages. This is a category. It demands your opinion as well as to state and explain advantages and disadvantages. In order to crack the marking, so if you follow this structure, that would be better. And the structure is, you need to change the language first, and they say that there are more advantages of this topic than disadvantages, as A and B are the advantages while C and D are the disadvantages, which can be managed, and these are discussed below. So you change the question language, and then you mention that A and B are the advantages while C and D are the disadvantages. These disadvantages can be managed. It means that you're saying that of course there are advantages also, disadvantages also, but disadvantages could be minimized, that you are saying on your introduction, right? And it means that of course there are more advantages. You are kind of like giving a clue, and these are discussed below. So your body paragraph first will be the same. So present A, explain to convince, linker. Present B, explain, and like the same kind of stuff, right? CUNBINC, okay. So next, in your body paragraph 2, present C, explain, and here we have defend, how this disadvantage can be overcome. Like you said on your introduction that it can be managed. You are presenting, you are explaining and defending, and put the linker. Present D means second disadvantage, explain, defend, and example. This example convince the defending kind of thing. So you have to show that this disadvantage can be managed. So ultimate goal of this paragraph would be to highlight that this disadvantage is there, but it's no longer effective if certain measures are taken. And in your conclusion, you can write, since A and B are the pros while C and D are the cons, and these cons can be handled as per the explanation done above. You can keep that, okay, not here. So I consider its advantages outweigh disadvantages. This is a prototype, okay, like you can make it better than the prototype that have been just given over here. They have to be better, or at least equal to this format, okay, just to make your marks better. And I do have a sample questions over here. I didn't keep the paraphrasing, I merged that. I consider there are more advantages of international trade, so it's better if you keep paraphrasing first and then say there are more advantages of this topic, as keep the advantages and also the disadvantages, and say that this can be managed, and put your first advantage, explain. I've kept example, but you might not want to keep example if you are short of example. And furthermore means linker. So next advantage, explanation, and example. So here comes the new thing that was added. So first disadvantage, explanation, and they mean nothing, so kind of defending. And next disadvantage, explanation, also again saying that it is nothing, or it can be managed, and then giving example to support this point, how this can be managed. And if you go with this one body paragraph, on your conclusion you can say, so these are the advantages and these are the disadvantages, and this disadvantage will not happen as explained above, and also it offers these advantages. So I think, it's asking your opinion. So I think its advantages outweigh its disadvantages. And that's how you would be doing this one. Next thing I should say, that if you search on Google recent IELTS writing task 2, if you search that, you'd end up getting this how to do IELTS 2023. Is 2024, but still you'll get this website. If you go inside this one, so you'll find lots of questions. These are recent questions been asked, okay. So you can go with the agree disagree questions, you can go with advantages, discuss both views. Two-part question which I was just saying, what are the consequences, two of the answers that you have to keep for the two-part question. What measures, here also two of this stuff. So I want all of my students to do pick one type of question, submit the essay, get the feedback unless it matches the structure, and you would get the feedback accordingly. There will be lots of improvement, and if you are sure, if we both could come to the same page on the instruction given versus the work that you do, we can initiate next questions, like do at least you'll be getting one opportunity over, you'll be doing two questions individual types. So there are like four types of questions. You'll be showing me a type of questions, and also like some of the like classifications with the two part questions or with the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so just by listening these things would be easy for you, but to craft the essay like this would take lots of brain. I would advise for 10 minutes do not write the essay. So for 10 minutes what you should do is you should think of how would you be changing the language. Next, what would be your the main answers, and how would you be keeping that on your introduction, how would you be keeping that on your body paragraph, that you have to restate even on the conclusion. So what languages would you use, how would you convince, what kinds of languages again. So whether you can keep C1 vocabularies or the special kind of grammar or the idiomatic vocabularies, what example would you be keeping. So you can't think of example as you write, so think them, plan them, have them like properly structured on your question paper or answer sheet. You can ask answer sheet and then cross it out. So after you have these 10 minutes of planning, execute it for 10 to 15 minutes. Once you write that, and after that you just like for 5 minutes reread it, proofread, so that there could be some kind of correction which you can do. So that's it. Have a great day. I just want to see your essays. See you.